everyone, today I've got a new television to show you. It's a CRT, Toshiba. The model number is the 36JW9UA. Here's the manual. It's got a print date of 2004. Here is a brochure, television brochure from Toshiba, 2005 catalogue. It has this CRT TV in it. So I'm going by those two publications that this TV was manufactured around that time of 2004-2005. Here's the original remote for it. Now it's a 36-inch flat widescreen CRT TV. It will accept a 1080i signal source as well as 720p and lower resolutions as well. I'm going to compare it against the Sony KV-HR36. I have a review on YouTube of the Sony KV-HR36, which I will just call the Sony from now on. I believe it's the best HD CRT TV that's been released on the market, at least here in Australia. There's been a few challenges to it, but nothing has really come close. So the Toshiba's the next one to make the challenge. It's quite comparable, same size screen, similar signal input types. So we'll see how the Toshiba performs. I've got the front hatch open there. I'll zoom in. Got your standard S-video composite and audio in, as well as a headphone, TV controls, and over here they've got a media card slot. It actually takes three different types of cards: SD, smart media, and another one, memory stick I think it's called. It's already got one up on the Sony there, with compatible with more types of cards, but not really a feature I'm looking for to play video games on this TV. I don't think that card slot business will do anything for that. It's nice anyway. Let's check out the back. Moving around the side here, we get a look at the shell. Fairly big sort of a shell on the back. Let's go down to the all important connectors. So you've got your composite and audio and all those, so let's get to the important stuff. There's two component video input sources there, C1 and C2, and then up here we've got a VGA connector. Now that is an advantage over the Sony already. Even though the Sony does take VGA through the component signal, the Sony has an extra two inputs on its components for the horizontal and vertical sync signals, whereas the Toshiba's actually gone with a dedicated D-sub connector, and I'll have to test it, but I think it is completely separate from the component inputs, so it is a true additional input on top of the others. So that's quite handy. We'll see how the VGA performs on this. Here's the model sticker. Right. To gain access to the service menu is quite easy. All you need to do is press the sound mute button on the remote, and then press it again and hold it while pressing menu on the television set. That gets you into the service menu, denoted by the S in the corner. There are several adjustments that you can scroll through to make any adjustments you need to. I just want to show you push number 9, gets you to this screen. Now, the TV has been on for a total of 2,046 hours. If you do the math, that probably works out to be about an hour and a half of use per day, so it's pretty light. It hasn't had a lot of hours. I've had TVs closer to 8,000, 9,000 hours for this age, so it's had pretty light use, which I'm pretty happy about actually. To get out of the service menu, you actually have to turn the TV off. There's no way to actually exit without turning it off. The cross patterns on the screen, there's nothing too bad there, just typical. It's not perfectly square everywhere, but you really don't often get that. A little bit out of convergence on the corners, but the focus is quite good on this screen, right into the corners. We'll get some game material in a moment and see how it really goes. While I have the setup as it is now, I can confirm that the VGA input does not clash with either of the component inputs, as it does on some TVs. Here's a demonstration. So the pattern generator is hooked into component input 1. We'll go to component input 2 on the TV. We have the Xbox 360 on there, no problems. and then we'll go to PC, and there's the PC. There's no issues at all with any of those channels. Probably the main thing against this TV is that on the PC mode input side of things, I cannot get it to go into a widescreen mode. I can feed a widescreen resolution into the TV, but I cannot get it stretched or beyond what you see there on the screen. Even the manual doesn't state anything about switching into widescreen mode on PC. You can push the button on the remote to go into widescreen. So I'm in 4:3 now. If I go into widescreen, it slightly enlarges the picture, but it's still confined inside this grey square. That's about as big as you can get, which this is probably the first TV I've seen widescreen wise that can't be stretched into widescreen on its VGA input. So that's a mark against it, but otherwise it does look quite good. The manual states that the following signals can be displayed in the PC mode: 640 by 480 at 60 Hz, 800 by 600 at 60 Hz, and 1024 by 768 at 60 Hz. I can confirm that that is true and all work, and it also can display a few other resolutions as well, so it has good signal compatibility or good resolution compatibility by TV standards. Changing channels, we can go to the media slot viewing channel, the memory card there. There's the 3 format: Smart Media, SD memory card, memory stick. I don't have any of those to show you. Okay, with the 360 we'll try some display settings. So it's on 1080i right now via component cable, no problem. 720p. It's displaying at 60 and now wants to test at 50. Has done so successfully. Let's try 480p. Yep. 480p at 50 Hz. Yep. So those all work fine. 720 is the one you've got to watch out for. A lot of these HD TV screens don't always accept the 720p. This has got the whole lot. I'll even try in some standard def. I'll go and click the button on the back of the cable. Be back in a sec. I've switched the Xbox 360 component cable down into standard def. So I imagine we're on 576i interlow signal right now on PAL 60. And let's see if PAL 50 works. Yep, so that works too. So I've got full compatibility over the component cable with the Xbox 360. A very good result. I shall now return to 1080i. I should make note that 1080p is not supported. I don't think there's any CRT TV that will do 1080p. What I've done with the TV as far as its contrast and brightness, its default is 50. I've boosted the contrast a little bit and boosted the brightness quite a lot because I found that in dark areas in games it's just too dark. It's too dark in the dark spots, so I've had to increase the brightness a bit and take the colour down from 50 to 46. Seems to be at a nice spot now. I have to say the picture looks really good on this television. I particularly like that it's well focused into the corners. Doesn't seem to get blurry at all. Nice and sharp across all the way. Detail's good, brightness is good, colours are good. Very nice. I wouldn't say it beats the Sony, but it is a strong second. A worthy second place contender, and it's better than any of the others I've seen bar the Sony for picture quality. Just to give you a bit of an idea on the difference between this and the Sony in its settings is very similar in its values. On its default they're 50 for contrast and brightness. Now with this set, as I said before, I had to turn things up to get it a bit brighter. But on the Sony, I had to go the opposite way. The Sony is just that bright and white that you've got to tone it down. And it still looks fantastic. So really, I'd still pick the KVHR36 over this, but this is a very respectable unit. I'll give it a good thumbs up, and I can highly recommend it. It's a TV that's not super common. There's a few other models around with very similar model numbers, but if you can go for this one, go for this model number. Shouldn't cost you too much either. They're basically giveaway jobs. But I think I'll just finish the video off by opening up the back and seeing what sort of tube's in there. I imagine it's going to be Toshiba, of course, but I've got another video with a Rank Arena HD CRT that also has a Toshiba tube inside, and I'm very interested to see if both sets use the same tube. Taking the back shell off, I'm quite surprised to find what the brand of the tube is. It's actually Matsushita Toshiba. They must have joined forces like some of the other manufacturers like LG and Philips to make a run of tubes. It's made in Japan, whereas the TV itself is made in China. The weight of it's 76 kilos compared to the Sony, which is 88, so there's same size screens yet 12 kilos of difference. I think that's partly explained by the Toshiba here not having any really big elaborate sound system on the back here, no big enclosures, but the only thing it's got is here is that woofer box or whatever it is on the back there, and your standard smaller speakers down there at the front, but that's not a problem, it still sounds good, so no issue there. Overall a good TV, highly recommend it. So thanks for watching and see you next time.